It's time for our community spotlight. Today, Katie Kogelman with United Way of Wayne in Holmes County. Hello again.
Hello, Angie. How are you?
Everything's wonderful over here on this side of the world. I'm assuming it is on your side of the world.
It is. It's a beautiful day. We're actually sitting outside.
Yep.
And I'm here today. My colleague, Carolyn Salazar.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Tell me why Carolyn is joining us today.
Well, Carolyn is our manager of public relations, so she does a lot of the work with our partner organizations. And today we wanted to talk about mental health awareness, as May is a mental health awareness month.
Yes.
So people have probably seen yard signs around town that just say May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And we thought we would share a little bit about the partners that we fund that work in the mental health arena and what are some, stats about mental health, but also tips for mental health.
Go for it. I'd love to hear it.
Awesome. Well, mental health is one of those things that it's not like, diabetes or, something even you can see a broken arm. It's something you can't see, but is there. And I think we really have to take care, especially after the pandemic, to know that people are out there struggling silently. And there are so many different programs in the communities we serve to help you. You do not have to struggle alone.
And one of those programs is NAMI. It's the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And according to their studies, 1 in 5 people struggle with mental illness each year.
And I want to break that stigma that it's this scary thing. Mental illness means any kind of anxiety or depression or any kind of addiction, correct?
Yes, and it can be PTSD. It can be postpartum depression. It can be as much as schizophrenia or bipolar, but the majority of people, it is that anxiety and depression that impacts them.
Yeah, and it can be a crippling disease to many, but it can also be something, I struggle with anxiety. And so it's something that anyone can struggle with, and it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean you're,
less of a person.
Yes, less of a person, or you're weak, or there's all of these different stigmas that do surround it. And a lot of people have a really hard time talking about them in a personal manner to people. But really, for those different disorders, it's important to talk about.
I mean, I know I just went through a couple of days where I was just in a funk, and that was a temporary thing, but I can imagine that somebody having to live with that every day, where it's just hard to keep going. I just had too many things coming at me at once and kind of felt beat up and just wanted to check out. And yeah, I can totally understand why this is a debilitating thing for people's lives. They can't live to the fullest, which is what we're called to do.
Absolutely. And with a physical ailment, so like Carolyn mentioned, you break your arm, you go to the doctor immediately and you get it fixed. With mental illness, they say that the lag time between the onset of the mental illness and help is 11 years. So can you imagine breaking your arm and then getting it fixed 11 years later?
I thought you were going to say 11 days.
No.
Oh my gosh.
11 years.
And I think too, something, that's important to recognize is these type of depression, anxiety, they can appear in children. So I think it's really important to be aware, not only as a parent, but as, with teachers and ministers, anyone who's interacting with children. It's really important to look for those signs, because it is important to get help early, so that they can find coping mechanisms that will help them not only as a child, but even in their adult life.
And I think it's important to mention that sometimes it comes out in misbehavior.
Absolutely.
So with kids, it always looks different.
It does.
And actually, I think adults who don't really know how to handle it can do something similar.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, we're called to live our best life, and we are. And there are so many voices of deception out there right now. I think probably the most in my lifetime, where you're constantly being judged, you're constantly being criticized. There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of deception, and we really need to be that voice of truth for people, that you were created for a reason. There is a purpose in your life, and joy comes in the morning, right? So hold on that one more day.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And you're worth it.
Yes. And one of my favorite songs is the Casting Crowns, Voice of Truth.
Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorite songs. And it tells a different story. So you always have to listen to that voice of truth and know that it's all going to be okay.
But we want people to know here in our community that there is help. Help is here.
A lot of help.
You're not alone. Help is here. We not only have a resource line that people can call during the day to talk to one of us to get help. We have a 24-hour crisis hotline in our community. So if it's 2:00 in the morning and you need someone to talk to because you are in crisis, or you're thinking about taking your own life, there is help here. Don't do it. No. Call us.
Right. And, along those statistics, it's a very scary statistic, but suicide is the second most leading cause of death in our society.
Only second to heart disease.
Yes. It's a startling statistic, and something we have seen become more prevalent even locally in this last year. So if you know anybody who is struggling in that way, please, there are so many different resources available for them, for you in the area where we live, work, and play.
So yeah, we have the hotline that people can call, and I assume that that's on your website, or how do people find it?
They can call during the day, 330-263-6363. If they're in crisis, it will give them that crisis hotline number. It's also on our website. We don't want people calling 911 when they are in crisis, unless someone is threatening to take their own life or hurt the life of another. Then by all means, call 911. We have officers in our communities that are trained as crisis intervention team members. They're trained by our mental health professionals. I don't think that's unique to our town, but what is unique is we have more than most other communities. So
we do. And if you feel like you need to talk to someone and you need to go to counseling or you need to go to a psychologist, we have all those resources. So if you call the number that Katie just said, the 330-263-6363 number, we can give you all of the different organizations in our community who can help you. And we fund quite a few of those programs. So there are, definitely, they will work with you if you feel like there is a restriction, maybe because of income. That is why we work so hard to raise money for these very, very important programs.
Let me ask you, if there's a family member or a friend and they just have questions, how can they go about getting help?
Same way, call us and we will connect them with the right organization. So NAMI, which we mentioned already, they have a family to family program, and it's really for family members of people with a mental illness. So it gives them the tools that they need as the family member, because oftentimes if you're the family member, you feel like something you did or you should do more. And this is a way for you to have a support group too.
Yeah, because I think that's important. And we're talking about like the beginning stages, but then how do we maintain good mental health or maintain a good place to continue getting that help?
That's right. And even if you don't have a family member or you don't know anyone personally suffering, I think the best thing that you can do is be kind to one another and love one another. I don't know how many times we've heard that it was just all I needed was just someone to talk to for a minute.
Yeah.
That's something I thought about earlier. It's so often people don't want to deal with other people's stuff because it gets messy. And that actually could save somebody's life. Just to listen. It's all you need to do. You don't need to counsel. You don't need to do this, that, and the other thing. Just listen and maybe direct them back to you guys to get them some help.
Yeah. And I think it's important to ask people, how are you doing? How are you really doing? I think it's so easy to just say, oh, I'm great. Fine. I'm good. I'm fine. But how are you really doing? I think is a really good question to ask. I always try to be intentional, even when I'm shopping, to ask the person that's checking me out, or to ask, people, hi, how are you? And so many people will often reply, nobody has asked me that all day. So I think that's a really important question. And it's something simple that you can do to actually make a difference in somebody's life.
Yeah, absolutely. So are there other agencies in your town that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so with the mental health, we fund Anna's Out Community Partners. They do a lot of work in the schools with at-risk youth. They also will do home counseling with children and adults. We fund Catholic Charities, who does the same. They have a psychiatrist on staff. So if it gets to the point where a person actually needs medicated, they can help with that as well. They do in-school, at-home, and community counseling. The counseling center is huge in Wayne and Holmes counties. They do a lot of work for that as well. We fund 180, their addiction services. So Forget Me Not Baskets, which is an organization that gives comfort baskets to families who have just lost a child. And that is a mental breaking point. And that's what this is about. It doesn't mean that if you have a mental illness, you don't forever have it. Maybe it can be temporary. Like you said, it can be 3 days. And death and grief puts a lot of people into a mental state where they need care.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just knowing that it's okay to not be okay is the way the song goes. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say, I'm not okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm glad that there's people who can listen. Fantastic.
Yes, listen and help, and really help you pave the way to, being back to, how you feel happiest. And sometimes it can be a long road, sometimes it can be a short road, but there is a lot of help to be had out there for so many.
Yeah, and we want everybody to live their very best and their fullest life, don't we?
And that's our mission. We raise money in this community so that people will have their best life.
So what's the website again for people to get in touch with you?
It's uwwh.org.
All right. And thanks, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good information for the month of May. Fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Everyone have a great month of May.
Yes, enjoy the sunshine out there.